Hello, everyone. Welcome to the When I Work webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to wait about 1 or 2 minutes to let everyone get joined properly and get settled in before we get started with our content. So hang tight and we will be getting started here in just about 1 or 2 minutes. While we wait, feel free to chat with us using the chat icon on this webinar. You can pop that open. You can let us know where you're joining us from and what kind of work you are scheduling and time tracking for. It's always really fun for us to get to know you all a little bit better before we get started. All right, welcome again, everyone who just joined. We're waiting 1 or 2 minutes to let everyone get joined in properly and settled in before we get started. Feel free again to chat with us using the chat icon. You can let us know again what kind of work you're scheduling or time tracking for and where you're joining us from. We always do get someone from really far away, so it's really exciting to know where everyone is coming from. We also schedule for users across the United States, across Canada, and across the rest of the world as well. So wherever you're joining us from, welcome. We also do schedule for all different types of companies. So we're not just a scheduling tool for one specific type of industry. We really span across all different types of industries, use cases, types of companies. So whatever you're looking to accomplish with When I Work, we probably have a pretty good setup for you. Welcome, Peter from Florida with College Hunks Hauling Junk. We have a lot of those of the College Hunks Hauling Junk accounts in When I Work. Welcome, Andrea from Washington as well. So like I said, When I Work is great for, a moving company, cleaning companies, education, retail, food service, healthcare. We really do span a ton of different industries in When I Work. All right. And Andrea just says she has a nurse staffing company. There you go. Welcome, Andrea. Okay, looks like most of the attendees have leveled off here. So I do want to make sure we go ahead and get started. So I just want to welcome you all one last time to the live Q&A. We're really excited to have you here and excited to help you get started with When I Work. My name is Marie and I'm joined by Cara. We're part of the customer onboarding team here at When I Work, and our mission is to help new users use When I Work and get set up as smoothly as possible. So during the next 30-ish minutes, we're going to be answering your When I Work questions. We're going to show you some ways that you can schedule your team, track time, communicate, all that sort of good stuff. But the direction of the webinar and the questions is going to be directed by the questions that you all ask us today. So the questions are going to be flowing in and we'll get to as many as we can. But if your question doesn't get answered or you come up with a new question, we will be going over all the ways that you can contact us for some one-on-one help. At the end, we have a little resource packet for you all. So stick around till the end if you are interested in that. And if you just started your When I Work account, we also are going to be going over the different plans that we offer, subscription options, how to upgrade your account, all of that good stuff we will be going over at the end. So if you're interested in that, stick around for the end. With that, we are going to go ahead and get started. You can pop your questions in the Q&A button. So we're going to be turning off the chat and turning on the Q&A button. You can put your questions in there now or anytime during the webinar. Cara is going to be going through all of those questions, asking as many as she can out loud. She might rearrange the questions based on where we are in the tool. And she also might type some questions back depending on how much time we have to get to all of the questions live. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my When I Work screen. This is my When I Work account. I am logged in right now as the admin. The admin is essentially just the user who started the account or who has been given admin access, the person who can do the most in the account. I am in the scheduler here. This is where you can create shifts for your employees, create your schedule, publish your shifts out so your employees know when to work and communicate with your employees when they're supposed to come in. This top menu bar is the main navigational center for When I Work. This is where you can access your scheduler, your attendance tool. This is where you can access your employees' timesheets to see when they've been clocking in and out. And this is where you can create your payroll summary. Your work chat tool, this is your in-app messaging system. This is where you can communicate and chat with your employees if you choose to turn this on. Over on this right-hand side of the top menu bar, this is more of your settings area. Your gear icon here, this is where you can change any settings within your account for the different tools within your account. You can also access your integrations landing page here. The integrations that we offer are connecting your attendance tool and your payroll processor. And your account and billing page, this is where you can upgrade your account and manage your subscription. The workplace menu here, this is a really important menu in When I Work. It's where you can add in all the building blocks for your When I Work account. Things like adding your employees, which is really important. You'll add your employees and then they will show up on your schedule here. Your positions, so positions, tags, job sites, shift templates, all of this will be used to create your actual shifts in When I Work. And then last but certainly not least, we have our request center. This is our tray icon. This is where you can manage all of the requests that are coming to you from your employees. So things like open shift requests, so employees that have requested to pick up an open shift, your other shift coverage requests. So this is requests for employees swapping and dropping their shifts with their other coworkers. And if you have your manager approval turned on for those, they will come here. And then your time off requests. If your employees are requesting to have time off, all those requests will show up here for you to approve or deny. And then here is where you can request time off for yourself or for other employees as well. So with that, I'm just going to start here in the scheduler and we can get started with our questions.
Super. All right, let's get started here. The first question is from Jessica. And Jessica says, I work for a staffing company. I send temp workers to client locations. Where should I set up my locations of clients?
Great question. So there's two different ways that you can set up locations in When I Work. I'll go over both of them, but then I will kind of go over the one that I would recommend for a staffing company or a client-based company. So first I'll go over, the first basic way to create different locations in When I Work, and that is creating multiple schedules. So creating a new schedule for each location that you have. So in your workplace icon here, you'll navigate to the schedules tab. This is where you can add in the different schedules within your account. So right now I just have two, and they are designating two different coffee shop locations. So just two different locations for this coffee shop. Back in the scheduler here, I can move back and forth between these schedules that I've created or the locations that I've created within my account. So I can create shifts on one schedule and then navigate to the other schedule and create shifts there. If you have employees that are assigned to both schedules within their employee profile or multiple schedules, you'll see if they have any previously scheduled shifts at the other location so you don't double book them. Within their employee list, you can assign the schedules to your employees here. They're only going to show up on schedules that they are assigned to in this profile section. So Chad here, for example, is only assigned to the Shifty's Coffee West location, whereas all of the other employees are assigned to all schedules. So Chad is only going to show up on the Shifty's Coffee West location. So back in the scheduler here, again, you can move back and forth between all of the different locations as schedules. So locations as schedules is going to be a great use case if you have I always say a limited amount of locations. So say you have, 3 retail locations or 2 coffee shops, or maybe you want to split your team up by department or teams. That's another great use case for the multiple schedule tool. Or, if you are a client-based company and you want to separate your employees by schedules, you can as well. But if you are a client-based company or you have a ton of different remote job sites that you are working with, I would recommend actually using our job site tool. So the job site tool is essentially a tag or an assignment that you can add on to one individual shift. So you can see this shift here is 6 to 1:30 as a cook at location 1. So the job site is location 1. You can create job sites with this handy workplace menu again, navigate to job sites, and this is where you can create all the different job sites that you have. It's really handy for a lot of different job sites or clients because you can actually import your job sites into your account. So that's really helpful if you have a ton of different job sites. And the use cases for job sites are really varied. You can use it for different offsite locations. Maybe you are a construction company with a lot of offsite job sites, or cleaning company, or staffing, like I just mentioned. You can use the different locations or different clients, and you can also designate equipment onto a shift if you need to let your employees know what equipment to use. Maybe you're a trucking company and you want to know which truck to use for different shifts. So once you add your job sites into the account, back in the scheduler here, again, the job site is an assignment that you add on to a shift. So I'm going to pop open this shift. So you can see the anatomy of a when I work shift. You've got your start and stop time, your position, some other information that you can add, and then you can add in your job site. So each job site in this case would be a different client for your staffing company, and your employees would get the shift with the client on it. And from their end, they'll be able to see their shift, they'll be able to see the client and the location. They'll even be able to navigate to that client if they have maps on their iPhone or Android, for example. So it's really helpful to help them get to the right place because the address and the job site will just be on their shift. So that's what I would recommend for a staffing agency if you have a lot of different job sites or clients, for example. But you could always use the multiple schedules tool if you want.
Awesome. Our next question is from Jamie Lee. Jamie Lee asks, I like to leave a note for my employees depending on which landscaping job they're going to. Is there a way to attach a note to a shift?
Great question. So I'm just going to open up this shift here. So there is an area where you can leave your shift notes. So you can let your employees know anything that they might need to do or remember or bring to their shift. And you could just add that in the shift notes here, and your employees will see it on their end, along with all of this other information for their shift. You can also use a tool that we call the document tool or document storage. So what you can do, again, hover in the workplace menu, click into documents. From here, you can upload any documents that you need into this account, and it's kind of a main area for your employees to see any documents. You can always link a document. So once you've uploaded it, you can click the little link icon, and then back in the scheduler, back in your shift, you can actually add the link into your shift notes. So if there's, a ton of information or different documents that you might need your employees to know about for their shift, you can always link the documents into the actual shift notes for your employees to view. Oh, it's actually right here. So there's a little helpful tip right here for adding documents into your shift notes. And then the last thing I kind of go over, or I wanted to mention, is also the work chat tool. If there's any last minute information, maybe your employees might need to know about their shifts or anything you need to communicate with your team, you can always use the work chat tool. It's our in-app messaging system where you can message your entire team or different groups, or you can even message employees one-on-one if they might need to know something for their shift. So it's a really great tool for, that extra last minute information that you need to keep your workplace running smoothly.
Fantastic. I'm glad that you brought up work chat because our next question is from Gary, and it is about work chat. Gary asks, can employees talk amongst each other in work chat, or can I make it so they can only talk to supervisors?
Great question. So we have a couple of different options for you to customize and kind of whittle down your work chat tool into exactly how you want to use it. So I'm going to hover into my gear icon here and click into my general settings to show you more about these options. So scrolling down to the work chat section, you can always turn work chat off if you don't want to use work chat at all. But if it's turned on, work chat will be available, but you have a couple of different options on how your employees and how your team can use it. So the first option here, if both of these are unchecked, your work chat will be a manager-only broadcast channel. So back up here within the work chat, back here, back, you'll only have this one work chat channel for your entire team, and only managers or admin will be able to talk in this channel. So it's a broadcast only channel, only for managers and admin. Oh my goodness, back here, if you want to, you can open up the channel to allow other supervisors and employees to post in that work chat channel. So if you have that turned on and toggled on within that main channel, other employees will be able to respond back to you. So it won't just be a broadcast only channel, it will be a back and forth channel, but it will remain just that one channel. And then even further from that, you can also allow your staff to create and post in additional channels. So if this is turned on, save that. Back in the work chat here, all of your employees will be able to talk amongst themselves. You will be able to create a new channel with different teams, or like I just showed, the one-on-one channel, and your employees will be able to do the same thing. So they will be able to talk one-on-one with each other or create different channels on their own. So it's really up to you how you want to use the work chat tool. But if you want to keep it, manager only, you can keep it as a broadcast channel, or you can allow other employees to chat within that channel as well. So for this use case, I would recommend just allowing other employees to post in that channel, but I would make sure that this is turned off so your employees can't create other channels and talk amongst themselves.
Wonderful. Our next question is from Cheryl. Are there different levels of permissions that can be given to employees, like giving a team member, leader, or supervisor ability to make schedule changes that others can't?
Great question. Yes, there's a couple of different levels of access that you can give your employees in When I Work to help you manage the team. So the way that you would do this is you would hover over the workplace menu again and click into employees. This is your employee list where you can add your employees, change their permissions, add in any information into their profiles. So we have 4 different levels of access for When I Work account. It's admin, manager, supervisor, and employee. The employee level is kind of the main level for any employees within your account. They're able to see their shifts, clock in and out, communicate with work chat, things like that. If you want to give an employee a little bit more access to managing the account, you would give them the supervisor access level. The supervisor access level is able to manage employees, but only employees that are assigned to the same schedules as them. So if you have multiple schedules with different supervisors for each schedule, or different locations with a supervisor for each location, the supervisor level would be right for you. And then a step above that would be the manager access level. The manager access level is similar to the supervisor level, but they can access different settings, they can view wages, and they are able to manage employees on all schedules. And I should have mentioned that managers and supervisors are able to do things like adding shifts for your employees, scheduling shifts, helping manage the time and attendance tool, things like that. And then the highest access level is the admin you can have 3 admin on one account. And the special thing about the admin is that they're able to manage all settings, manage all employees, and they are able to manage the account and billing page. So to change subscription options, things like that. And there are a couple of small differences between all of these access levels that might be really important for your workplace. Things like who can view wages, for example. So I would recommend using our help center here and typing in access level or user privilege. And we have an article that will walk you through with a big chart what each level can do and what each level can't do. So you make sure that you're giving your employees the right level of access for your team, so no one is changing things that they shouldn't or seeing things that they shouldn't. So before giving anybody an access level, I would really recommend going through that table and just making sure everything checks out.
Super. I am also going to post that help article that you mentioned in the chat that we were using earlier, just in case anybody wants a quick link to that article for their reference. Our next question is from Gary. He says, I want employees to be able to use the mobile app to clock in, but how do I make sure they're clocking in from the right place?
Great question. I really like our attendance tool. It works so well with the rest of your account, with the scheduler. So whenever anyone is using the attendance tool, it really excites me. So I'm going to hover into my gear icon for my settings and click into my attendance settings to show a little bit more about this. So we have 3 different ways that your employees can clock in and out in When I Work: personal computer, time clock terminal, and mobile app. So whichever one you choose, you can choose one or all of the above. If you have your employees clocking in with the mobile app, if this is turned on, your employees are going to see a big green button at the bottom of their mobile app when they are logged into their account, and it will say clock in or clock out. So they can just click that button on their own personal device and it will clock them in and out, which is really great. Employees really like to use this tool. It's one of our most popular clock in options. But a big question that always comes up is, can my employees clock in and out anywhere if they are using the mobile clock in option? It's super understandable that this is, a topic of discussion, because you don't want your employees clocking in and out where they shouldn't, maybe from their bed, from the breakfast table, or on their way to work when they should be at work already. So you can restrict where your employees can clock in and out. All you have to do is just toggle these on, whichever one you want. You can restrict just the clock in and leave the clock out open, but you can restrict them both. And then you'll choose how close your employees have to be to their scheduled location. Within this section here, the minimum is 100 meters, and that creates that geofence around their location. So their location will be restricted to the schedules or the job sites that you have in the account, whichever one they're clocking in and out for, or whichever one is added to their shifts. So if they are not on site, they won't be able to clock in. And as soon as they get on site, then they will be able to clock in. And this is really going to help you make sure that your employees are where they should be and when they should be there. So you're not getting any false punches, and making sure your employees are where they should be, even if you're not there, which is really helpful. And you can also turn on a time-based restriction for your employees clock in. That way your employees aren't able to clock in too early for their shift. And so you can kind of reduce some of those unnecessary overtime costs that sometimes can add up if your employees are clocking in a little bit too early. You can choose how soon they are able to clock in for their shift. So that's really helpful as well. If you use that alongside your location-based clock in, you're really going to whittle down, when and where your employees can clock in, which is really helpful, again, just for your peace of mind and also for those costs that might add up.
Wonderful. And Gary has a follow-up question to that. If an employee clocks out at the wrong time, can I change it?
Great question. Yes, you can. So what I just did is I hovered over the attendance tab and clicked into timesheets. So here you can see timesheets for Allison here for this pay period. And you can always change your employees' times or any information within their time punch if it isn't accurate. So just make sure to go into the correct employee's timesheet and in the correct pay period, locate the time punch that you want to edit. If they forgot to clock out or maybe clock out at the wrong time or couldn't clock out, something happened, you can always change the time punch here. So just using your keyboard, you can also do this on the mobile app. You'll just hit backspace or delete and then type in a new time and then click return or enter. It's super simple and it's very easy to do. You can always change any of the details information. So maybe they clocked in for the wrong position. You want to change that over. You can do that as well. And something really helpful to know as you are changing times, it's really important to know, who changed what, when it was changed. It's employees' pay that we're talking about. So using this eye icon on the details area, you can see who changed the time, when they changed the time, and what they changed it to within this history section. So that's really helpful. Because changing times can get a little bit complicated. So knowing that you can always see any history of that time punch is always really helpful as well.
All right, let's sneak in one more question here. This one is from Andrea, and she asked, do you integrate with ADP?
Great question. We have a lot of really amazing integrations that will connect your When I Work attendance tool to your payroll processor. And ADP is actually one of the processors that we work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over the gear icon here and click into my integrations page. This is where you can see any active integrations that you have within your account. And if you haven't set one up yet, you can click that button and it will open up all the integrations that we offer. So we do have an integration with ADP. We have ADP Workforce Now and ADP Run, whichever one that you use, you'll just be able to click more and enable, and that will help you get the integration connected and started. Again, within our help center, we have a lot of articles on how to get these integrations set up. They're not hard. We have all the steps with little videos and GIFs. So make sure to use the help center again, type in, Gusto or ADP, and we will have a help article for you. But of course, you can always chat with us if you have any trouble. And then we do have a couple of integrations that these companies built to When I Work. So while they're offered, you might have to go to their help center to learn more about how to actually set the integration up, since they were the ones that built it. But we do offer them as well if these are of interest to you. And then back in the timesheets area here, you will be able to close out your payroll period. Close that out. It will create a payroll summary for you based on all of your employees' worked hours. I just have one employee entered here, so it looks a little bit small. But from there, you'll be able to export your period hours. By default, you'll be able to export that into Excel. But if you went through those steps to set up your payroll integration, you'll see another button that will say send to ADP or send to Gusto. And so at the end of your period here, all you'll have to do is press that button to send your times over from your payroll summary. So it's a really helpful tool if you don't want to be manually entering times from When I Work into your payroll processor. So it's a great little time savings hack and just streamlines everything. I love when I see accounts that have the scheduler built out with the attendance tool added on. They work so well together, and then their payroll processor integrated, because it's just really streamlining your employee management. It's going to save you a lot of time, help the workplace run really smoothly.
Wonderful. All right. With that, I think we can go over a little bit more information about our plans.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to share my screen back over here. And I have a couple of slides for you, for those of you who are interested in learning more about our plans. And then at the end, we have a resource packet. So stick around if you want to have that resource packet. So The question always comes up on which plan might be right for me, and we have actually condensed our plans to make it really simple and easy to know which plan is right for you. So we have a small business plan and an enterprise plan. The small business plan is right for you if you have up to 100 users, and if you have over 100 users, you might want to be on the enterprise plan. The enterprise plan just has a couple of other tools that are really right for those larger businesses. Things like access to our API key, global privacy, single sign-on, extra reporting, things like that. But all of the tools that we talked about here today are available on our small business plan. So if you have under 100 users, the small business plan is probably right for you. But of course, if you think you might need to be on the enterprise plan, you can always chat with us. The small business plan is going to include all of the scheduling tools that we talked about today. So creating your schedule, availability, communicating via work chat, using those multiple schedules or job sites, those documents, things like that. And if you need any of the attendance tools, so the tools that we showed you at the end, so clocking in and out, or connecting with your payroll processor, geo-restricting where your employees can clock in and out. All of those tools will come with the attendance add-on. So you might need to be on small business scheduling plus attendance if you need any time tracking tools. And you can actually upgrade your account on your own right within your own account. So it's like a subscription, similar to how you would, upgrade your Netflix account. You would just log into your account, hover over the gear icon and click account and billing. From there, click the upgrade my account button, and then you will be presented with all of the options that we have. So by default, scheduling and messaging is turned on. And if you need, you can always turn on time clock and attendance to add the add-on there. And by default, we have a monthly billing option. So it's billed monthly, no contract. But if you love When I Work and want to do the annual billing option, you can choose your annual billing. You are locked into your account for that year, but you get a 5% discount. So it's a really great option if you are planning on using When I Work for the long term. From there, click checkout to activate my account, and then you can choose the amount of users you need. We bill in groups of 5 users, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, etc. So once you figure out which user range you need to be in, you'll see your price mocked up, and then you can go ahead and add your billing information and purchase your account. So it's really easy. You can do this all on your own. But of course, if you have any questions as you get started, you can always contact us for help. Whether it's a question on how to set up your account, or which plan is right for you, or if When I Work is even right for you, or if you come across something where you get stuck, we are here to help with all of those questions. So you can get in contact with us via the chat bubble. It's live chat from your account. So we can help you by sending, screenshots and recordings and videos to help you get your account set up. So you can always chat with us using that green chat bubble on the lower right-hand side of your account. Or if you prefer email or don't have an account yet, you can email us at gettingstarted@wheniwork.com and we will shoot you back an email. We also have a lot of helpful resources that you can check out on your own, and we will send those in the chat. So keep an eye out in that chat tool. We will be sending out the resource packet. We have some pre-recorded demos. We have a help center. We also link our training center, which is really helpful as you're getting started. I really recommend taking that training center and watching the whole setup training. It's a bunch of videos to help you get your account set up from A to Z. So I really recommend taking a look at that training, and you can chat with us as you go, of course. And there is employee training in that as well that you can send to your employees once you have your account set up. But of course, if you have any questions along the way, do not hesitate to reach out to us and we will get back to you and make sure that you're set up on the right track for success with When I Work. So with that, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week, and check out the chat tool again for all of those resources if you're interested. Bye everyone.